Hello and welcome back to the podcast that also cried for 3 hours, 10 minutes straight. Welcome back to your best part of your week. Welcome back to another episode of the Love, Death and Movies podcast, Internet's number one film breakdown and review show, the show that crushes watch lists week after week. Every couple of months is a different genre. Every week in those different couple of months is a different film in that different genre. So follows and everything, just the ride, watch the movies. With me each and every week, Ash First Movies. Ash, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you,
Yeah?
Harry?
I'm pretty good. Ash, we finally kind of met the end of our Steven Spielberg book, is what we call it. We've gone through some tribes and tribulations. You know, some were fantastic, some were not as good, and then we've got the whole debacle that people now know as the Terminal, which is a shame. But it's okay because people definitely always remember it for what it is, which is a debacle. It is what it is, though. Ash, how have you liked going through the Book of Spielberg?
It's been great. I mean, obviously, we've rewatched some of my favorites, which is always fun, but I have checked off some that I either hadn't seen or hadn't seen in a long time. Like Close Encounters, I hadn't seen. I thought
Oh,
I
yeah.
had, and then Munich, I hadn't seen. Terminal, even though I didn't love all of them, it was like my favorite things. I'm very glad to have watched them. So I feel like I know more of his filmography now. Still think he's one of the greats. That was never a question, but solidified after rewatching.
Absolutely.
Definitely one of the most I can't talk today. Influential filmmakers. So yeah, it's been fun.
Hell yeah. And Ash, how's your week? Tell me about your week.
Oh my God. I had like a week from hell, to be honest. It has been the longest week of my life. Like there were some things that happened on Tuesday and I was just like rethinking my week and I was like, oh, that just happened 5 days ago? There's no way. That was like 3 months ago. It was just one of
Really?
those weeks. It was just like nonstop. Yeah, unfortunately we're dealing with some injuries in our house and just some medical
You can never catch
bullshit.
a break.
No, really not. Like it's a joke at this point. Like this is why I have such a dark sense of humor, as does Adam, my husband, because we both are just like it's just laughable at this point
Yeah.
that it's just always something. But I'm just convinced that's what adulthood is. It's just nonstop that for however many years you exist. So I just try to make the most of it and just laugh through the pain. What else can
Really
you
good,
do?
dude. Yeah, fair enough.
But it was a fine week. Had some fun stuff. Got to see some friends briefly. But mostly just yeah, kind of a long week at work and just sort of getting stuff together. It's supposed to rain here for the next like 4 days, so I went and worked on the gutters today. So I'm a little sore,
Mm-hmm.
upper body sore. But yeah, looking forward to October finally.
Oh, yeah. Spooktober.
How about
Um,
you?
did you get to see One Battle After Another yet?
No,
Okay. Well, I saw One Battle
no.
After Another. It's fantastic. It's great. You'll love it,
Good
I
for
think.
you.
Um, I'm really keen to see what you think of it. Maybe we do like a PTA 2 months because he's got like 8 movies now. That could be fun.
I would love that because I have only seen one of his films. I'm really
Oh,
like I'm ashamed to admit it, but I have
that's
only
okay.
seen one, and I've seen like pieces of Boogie Nights a long, long time ago. But I want to watch like everything.
Let's wait a couple of months so that because a lot of these movies are long. So let's
Yes.
get out of the long months that we just went through, and have a bit of a break from that, and then we'll come back. But my week's been good. Work's been kind of crazy, but nothing too nuts to complain about. I got to see One Battle After Another. That was good fun. I'm an AFL guy, and it's the AFL
Yep.
Grand Final, and you can see there's the balloons behind me. It says Grand Final. It's reversed. I'm not sure if it's reversed
I
or
don't
not.
think
So.
our listeners know that you're an AFL guy.
Yeah, yeah, I am. Well, I haven't been speaking about it for the last couple of months because my team didn't make it.
Fair.
But it was okay. But it was great. We had the grand final on. We're recording this on Monday morning, my time. So if you hear birds chirping or construction, it's because work has started. But we had it on Saturday and it was awesome. We had the pre-game entertainment was Snoop Dogg, and he was fucking awesome. He was like the stadium was like 100,000 people, and it's just Snoop Dogg in the middle, just da 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 da. It's the one and only D-O-double-G. He's so sick. I'm a big Snoop Dogg fan. But no, that was sick. anyone that watches AFL, they can admit it was a great game. It was literally at halftime. This means nothing to you, Ash. Halftime, every single stat was equal. So, like, the number of goals was equal, the number of missed goals was equal. So they call them behinds. And the total score, of course, was equal. Every single like pass was equal. Every single mark of catching the ball was equal. Like it was sick to look at. Of like the two stats, the stat list was really cool. But then yeah, that I also watched Schindler's List, so there's that. So had some highs and had some lows. But to get into Schindler's List, Ash, quick synopsis: in German-occupied Poland during World War II, industrialist Oskar Schindler gradually becomes concerned for his Jewish workforce after witnessing their persecution by the, can we say the word? The N party. What do we call them? The N party, I guess. I just don't want to be taken down.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know if that's a thing. So
Cool. By the bad guys. Ash, what did you think of Schindler's List? Is this your first time watching it?
technically, it's my first time watching it all the way through. Apparently, this was one of those movies that I have seen like the first hour and a half of. I don't know how. I thought that I'd seen it. You know, when you're like young and you watch stuff, you have no. I mean, I didn't back then have a good concept of time, like as far as a complete story. So in my mind, I had seen this movie because I had seen such like crucial scenes, I guess, and knew what it was that I just assumed like, oh yeah, I remember loving it. But I was like a teenager, and I think it was one of those like either my dad was watching it or it was like a history class type of thing. So no, I would not say that I had recalled the whole thing from start to finish. So it kind of felt like a first time watch, especially being older and having a different lens now, if you will, especially for movie watching, number one, but also just the world and the way things are portrayed. Yeah, it's a heartbreaking movie. I mean, that's an understatement. I think it has some of the best acting performances. I think visually it's an achievement, especially for the time. I mean, it looks gorgeous. I watched a 4K remaster copy, just absolutely stunning looking film, which is crazy to say because the subject matter is so dark and so
Yeah.
awful. I think the choice to make it in black and white was a perfect choice,
Yeah.
especially with that ending. And then especially with like the one little girl in her red coat, I think it just looks amazing, and you really feel what's going on. I think because of the way the tone is like set and the way it looks. But yeah, I mean, I had no clue about this real life story, to be honest with you. We learn about this period of time in history class from so many different angles, right? But you don't. There's so much that's missed. So I had no clue, obviously, about Oskar Schindler, what he did, how that whole thing went down. This, I guess, section of that war in Poland and all of that. I just had no knowledge of that specific portion of it. So I think it's obviously very personal for Spielberg to tell this story, and I think that the direction and the writing is fantastic. And I was just blown away. It's a long movie.
It
It
is.
is. But I don't think that it's one of those long movies where I felt like, oh, this really needed to be shorter.
No, it was
Obviously,
paced really well.
yeah, it is. I mean, obviously, it's a hard subject matter. So, in that sense, you're like, I want this to be over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, lengthwise, as far as a film and storytelling goes, I thought it was really well done. If anything, they could have trimmed 10 minutes off the beginning. But really, I feel like everything served its purpose, really built up to the full story, to who he is, to who he's connected to. So, yeah, I mean, just an absolutely devastating watch. Some moments that are really hard to look at, but very glad to have watched it all the way through. It's definitely one of the best films ever made, and definitely one of his best that he's done.
Absolutely. So I just did some quick research while you're talking. We can say Nazi as long as we're saying it in the correct wording here. You can say it on a podcast if it's using it in a neutral, historic, journalistic, or critical way. So yeah, we're fine.
Perfect.
In terms of awards, though, do you know how many Academy Awards it won?
I mean, I can only imagine it was probably at least 6 or 7.
Correct. Got 7. Booyah. Yeah. So it won Best Picture, Best Director, Steven Spielberg, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Cinematography. So when you were talking about like how beautifully it was shot, there you go. Best Film Editing. The editing was awesome. Best
Amazing.
Original Score, which was done by John Williams. Best Art Direction / set decoration. That's what it won for. So it was also received nominations for Best Actor in a Leading Role, Liam Neeson, Best Actor in a Supporting Role, Ray Fiennes, Best Costume Design, Best Makeup, and Best Sound. So all in all, I think it deserved every one of those nominations. I'd want to look at well, it came out in 1994, so the 1995 Oscars. I
I
want to
thought it
see
came out in
what.
1993.
Oh, that might
No?
have been the 1994 Oscars. Sorry, I'm looking up then. Yeah, you're probably right.
Well, because I know he did
Yes,
this and
you're right.
Jurassic Park in the same year, which is nuts.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because he didn't finish directing Jurassic Park because he read this book on the set of Jurassic Park and Steve Zalian had already wrote a script for it, and he's like he needed to film it in Poland, I believe, and he needed to film it in the winter of Poland, and that was almost at the end. They had like 2 months left. So then
Gotcha.
there's the behind the scenes story where he got George Lucas to come in and direct the last couple of weeks of Jurassic Park for him, and then he went over to Poland and directed Schindler's List. What a difference in range from Jurassic Park to
Yeah,
Schindler's List, eh?
absolutely. And to just address the best actor winner, it was Tom Hanks for Philadelphia. I'm not sure that I think
Fair
that's a
enough.
better performance, but
I'm more thinking of the best supporting actor, which was Tommy
it was
Lee
Tommy
Jones
Lee Jones.
in the Fugitive, that's tough. Like I think he's great in the Fugitive, but like Ray Fiennes is remarkable in this. I thought
He's so haunting.
he is. He's very very goddamn good. But Ash, this was made with $25 million, box office of 322.2 million. So it's for a historical drama. That's incredible. But Ash, let's get into it, eh? This is going to be, there's a lot of different names here for me, all right? So I know I get tongue tied very easily. But in 1939, the Germans relocate Polish Hebrews to the Kakro ghetto as World War II begins after the German army defeats the Polish army in 3 weeks. Oskar Schindler, played by Liam Neeson, an ethnic German businessman, arrives in the city hoping to make a fortune as a war profiteer. Schindler arrives at Czechoslovakia in hopes of using the abundant cheap labor forces of Hebrews to manufacture enamelware for the German military. I love this because at the beginning you're like, this guy's kind of he's a swindler, you know, like he literally is just making profit from everyone's demise. And that's what it seems at first. Like even there's elements throughout this where he's like looking at the people and he's just like when the woman comes to him for help to harbor, and well, he sees the places everyone sees his factory as, well, what was the word that they use? It's like
A haven.
haven. There we go. And he hated that at first because he's just like they're just workers. This is like I'd lose money, yada yada yada. And then by the end of it, you see like he's like throwing money away, which is great. So Schindler, a member of the Nazi Party, lavishes bribes upon SS officials. Sponsored by the military, Schindler acquires a factory for the production of army mess kits. Not knowing much about how to run an enterprise, he gains a collaborator named Stern, played by Ben Kingsley, an official of Kakro's Hebrew Council, who has contacts with the Hebrew business community and the black marketeers inside the ghetto. So the Hebrew businessmen lend Schindler money in return for a share of products produced. Opening the factory, Schindler pleases the Nazis and enjoys newfound wealth and status as her director, while Stern handles administration. Schindler hires Hebrew Poles instead of Catholic Poles because they cost less. Workers in Schindler's factory are allowed outside the ghetto, and Stern ensures that as many people as possible are deemed essential to the German war effort, saving them from being transported to concentration camps or killed. Meanwhile, Schindler maintains friendly relationships with the Nazis and enjoys his new wealth and status as an industrialist. So anything to kind of add here for the beginning of the film? It's kind of just the introduction of like this whole plan. I love this whole the outset of this film. I think it's really, as you said, you touched on. I think the way that they filmed this in black and white, I think is perfect, because there's that moment where we see the little girl in red, and there's like a million things it could symbolize, but I think it symbolizes like the catalyst for Schindler, of like that's the thing that he remembers. He like and then you see the red coat later on, and that's like his whole mindset being like, oh, that's it. That's how I see it. But what do you think about the beginning of this film? And specifically, I loved Ben Kingsley in this as well.
Yeah, I was going to say that if you didn't, that exact same sentence. I think that he is sort of an underrated performance here. I don't think it's as noticeable as maybe Liam Neeson or Ray Fiennes. I think his presence isn't as dominating when he walks in the room. But
Very subtle, isn't it?
yes, I found him to be just one of my favorite performances throughout the entire movie. He's like the heart of the film. And of the, obviously like kind of what's going on. And I love their relationship throughout. We can talk about it when we get there, but that final scene of them having their drink finally, that brought me to tears. But yeah, I mean, this section of the movie, I think really is setting the tone of like who Schindler is. I think it's important that they showcase that opening scene and just how charismatic he is, how good he is at building relationships with these people. Just kind of shows just who he is and what he's capable of. So I think it's
Agreed.
all really important. I guess some people could find that that is an area where they could have trimmed down the movie, but I found it all to be important for character development and also just setting the tone of kind of what we're dealing with, what kind of people we're dealing with, and just also how Schindler is so good at sort of being like a swindler, just sort of like saying whatever he needs to say to get these people on his side, getting them drinks, getting them all excited with partying. And obviously he's after what he wants. So whether it be from the Nazi soldiers who have the money or it be from the workers, he's about to get what he wants. Like he's out there to get what he wants in whichever way it takes from both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting, important backstory / context before we get to the rest of the movie. Because obviously, compared to where he leaves the movie, we need all of this context. So I think in that sense, it sets it up really well. Yeah, edited really nicely, great storytelling, and just great acting, even from some of the smaller side characters, like some of the guys in the black market. I forget the one character's name, but he's throughout the whole movie, he's in it. He's like the one that gets him the suits and sort of helps him, get going. I forget his character's name, but I really liked him as well. I think it's Poldek. Something like that.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Starts with the P. But yeah, I really enjoyed the setup of the. I mean, enjoyed as much as you can enjoy a story like this, right? It feels weird saying that word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's Poldek. You're right. Nice. SS Lieutenant Armin Goeth. Is that how you pronounce it? Goeth? Goeth. Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. Played by Ray Fiennes, arrives at Krakow to oversee construction of the concentration camp. Once the camp is complete, he orders the liquidation of the ghetto and Operation Reinhard in Kakarot begins. Sorry, there's someone can you hear that? The blower outside my apartment?
A little bit.
It is what it is. Sorry, is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. With hundreds of troops emptying the cramped rooms and arbitrarily murdering everyone who is uncooperative, elderly, or infirm. 2,000 heroes are transported to Plazau, and 2,000 others are killed in the streets by the SS. Schindler watches the massacre and is profoundly affected. He watches this, I think he's when he's on horseback, right?
Yep.
He's
With
just
his
on the
mistress.
hill. Yeah. Dude, the amount of women in this movie from him. Remember when his wife just comes back and he's just like, look, she's nervous. And it's like, I thought that was really fucked up.
Well, and he's like, she was like, I don't have to like her. Like basically, he was like, I really like her. I think you're gonna like her. And she's like, I don't have to like her.
Yeah.
So they just accepted that's what you do whenever you're away. But the wife's just like, fine, you can have your time, but I don't have to like her.
Yeah, fair enough.
Wild.
Yeah, wild. Can't get away with that any day. He particularly notices a young girl in a red coat who hides from the Nazis and later sees her body on a wagon loaded with corpses. He nevertheless is careful to befriend Goeth, and through Stern's attention to bribery, Schindler continues enjoying the SS support. Goeth brutalizes his Hebrew maid, which is Helen Hirsch, and randomly shoots people from his balcony of his villa. The prisoners are in constant fear for their lives. I think this scene's brilliant because it's like it is terror, like it's constant terror of just like, and he's just there, just kind of like it's just nothing to him. Like they're nothing but like inventory to him. I saw. So as time passes, Schindler's focus shifts from making money to trying to save as many lives as possible. To better protect his workers, Schindler bribes Goethe into allowing him to build a sub-camp for his workers, under the pretext that he can keep his factory running smoothly. As time passes, Schindler tries to save as many lives as he can. As the Germans begin losing the war, Goethe is ordered to ship the remaining Hebrews at Plaszow to Auschwitz concentration camp. Schindler prepares to leave Krakow with his fortune. He finds himself unable to do so, however, prevails upon Goethe. I've written this incredibly badly. Schindler asks Goethe for permission to move his workers to a munitions factory he plans to build in Broslitz, near his hometown of Zitwal. Zitwal. I'm sorry, I'm Australian. Away from the final solution. Goethe charges a massive bribe for each worker. Schindler and Stern prepare a list of people to be transferred to Brunlitz instead of Auschwitz. The list includes 1,100 names. So he saved that many people. Schindler also plays a game of high card draw for one worker in particular, Helen Hirsch, who'd been serving as Goethe's housekeeper and had been victim of his continual abuse. Goethe is reluctant, hoping to run away with her, but knowing that such an action would result in his death as well as hers. He also floats the idea of simply executing her, but finally decides to play Schindler for Helen's life. Helen is among... Sorry.
Bless you.
Helen is among those who board the train to Brunlitz, so it's kind of like known that he won that. Schindler's List compromises these skilled inmates. For many of those in Plaszow, being included means the difference between life and death. Almost all the people on Schindler's List arrive safely at the site. The train carrying the women, however, is accidentally redirected to Auschwitz. There, the women are directed to what they believe is a gas chamber. After a harrowing experience where their hair is crudely cut off and they're forced to strip, they see water falling from the showers. The day after, the women are shown waiting in line for work. In the meantime, Schindler had rushed immediately to Auschwitz to solve the problem and to get the women out of Auschwitz. Schindler bribes the camp commander, Rudolf Hobb, with a cachet of diamonds in exchange for releasing the women to Brunlitz. However, a last problem arises just when all the women are boarding the train because several SS officers attempt to hold some children back and prevent them from leaving. Schindler, then there to personally oversee the boarding, steps in and is successful in obtaining from the officers the release of the children. So anything to kind of add here of just like that's like... I know that went over heaps of stuff there, but it was more just like the Schindler kind of turning into, I'm saving everyone. And like that whole plan of the list, I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like what you just went over was probably like an hour and a half, if not 2 hours of the movie. I mean, it is a lot of just watching the everyday life of what's happening. So it's not really like, you can't really describe it scene by scene.
Yeah.
I mean, I think some of the scenes, this is very much unlike watching something like Empire of the Sun, where we kind of saw like they were just like in a work camp and they were making the most of it. This is like a complete nightmare that these people are living. So yeah, I mean, it's absolutely haunting. I think it's important to watch films like this and really get an idea of how awful it really was. It's like watching The Zone of Interest. I feel like this to me is different because that was more focused on just what the lives of the family were doing. But this shows how messed up Goethe is by, living in this like hill house that he can watch over everything and just getting bored in the morning and starting his day by shooting people because they're nothing to him. With his wife just laying around topless in bed like, oh, he's just being silly this morning, just shooting people. It's like she was so casual about it. Like it was annoying to her that she had to be woken up. It wasn't because he was killing people. It was because she had to be suddenly awoken. So it's just, it's absolutely awful to really have a understanding of what people had to go through just for survival. And the fact that some of these are children. I mean, these are 7, 8, 9-year-olds that are separated from half their family. If they're lucky, they're with a parent and they're just absolutely suffering. So yeah, I mean, I thought it was just the way that it was written and filmed I think that that's good that they didn't really like shy away from anything. I mean, this movie is brutal. It is violent. It is a nightmare. It is honest when it comes to how quickly they made these decisions. One of the ones that stands out to me is the scene with the civil engineer, the woman who is trying to explain to them that it will
Oh
collapse if,
yeah.
and it's like the fact that it's a woman telling them is number one issue, but the fact that it's a Jewish woman telling them, who's supposed to be beneath them, it's like that's just enough to just take her over and shoot her
But
without
then it's
even
like,
thinking about
but
it.
then straight after that, they're like, do what she says.
Exactly. That's the thing. They know that they're right and they're willing to use the knowledge and exploit them, but they don't want them alive
Yeah.
because of who they are, which is it's just awful. And I feel like watching this movie in 2025 is just, I don't know. It's crazy to think we're almost 100 years away, from some of this history. And it's just wild to me.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely devastating. I think this whole middle chunk of the movie just shows the two different lives of what the German side is living like and what the Jewish side is living like during this time. It showcases it just beautifully intertwines everything of how haunting it really is. So I thought it was all super well done. I think Liam Neeson is just such a powerhouse in this movie. Every time he walks in,
He's a
there's like this
presence, isn't he?
presence.
Yeah.
He's tall. He's well dressed. I love all of his costumes. I think they're just perfect. And yeah, he just stands out. And like you can just tell he's just sort of smarter and more intuitive than all of the soldiers combined, even
Yep.
the more than Goth. And he knows how to get under his skin. I love the balcony conversation they have about like what a real like power move is versus what he's currently doing. Because you even have that scene later where he's like in the
Yep.
mirror, like trying like the idea of
The
pardoning
pardon
people.
you. Yep.
And then he decides, you know what? No, I'm going back to shooting. So it just shows how much of a actual coward he is. And yeah, I just think some of those little moments are just where the movie really goes from being like good to just being like excellent. There's just
Yeah.
like little scenes they include that I feel like take it to the next level. So
Yeah, the scene
yeah,
where he
a lot of that.
pardons the kid. And then like the kid's walking away, you see like the bullets go next to him, and the kid knows what's about to happen. So he just turns away and just slowly starts walking, and then you don't see him get hit, and then the camera pans, you just see him
Yeah,
like lying on the ground. It's like that's so much more effective from Spielberg here. Like that is
absolutely.
way more effective. Spielberg's a genius.
Yeah, I
He's
think the way that
absolutely
he
genius.
filmed this, you can really, when you go back to something like the Fablemans, where we get to see some of the OG maybe ways he went about filmmaking, I feel like it makes so much sense when you look at something like this as far as how he decided to film it. This is obviously way more brutal than some of
Yeah.
the other war movies he's done, but even Saving Private Ryan is a super brutal war movie. I mean, he doesn't shy away from wanting to showcase the true hell that it was, which I respect a lot as much as it's hard to watch. And then, yeah, just last point about Liam Neeson, that scene where he's watching everything unfold and then sees the little girl. I think without saying anything at all in that entire scene, I think it says everything. And it's complete foreshadowing for where his mindset is going to shift. So
About
I agree with
the
you
red coat.
everything.
Yeah, I think we both agree. It's like the catalyst of like his mind because he's like watching her run away and then seeing her on the cart. He's just like, oh, he's like he like connects it sort of thing, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's all just so awful. But I do love watching his character slowly morph from like, I don't really care, but I want money to I care more about lives. Like even to the point where he's purposefully putting out bad product at the end
Yeah,
because,
because exactly like
you
you go
know,
at the beginning of the film, he's just like he's only talking about profits and only talking about like he's only getting people that could is essential workers sort of thing. And then at the end, he's having that talk with Stern, and Stern's just like we keep getting sent back product because they're not calibrated right, and I've got a suspicion that you're going and recalibrating all the machines. And he's just like, how much is it going to cost us to buy correct things, and then we ship that off because I don't want anything made here. And it's like that's going to cost him a fortune, but it doesn't matter. It does not matter to him anymore. I think it's really cool.
oh, and I guess, sorry, last thing because we went over so much, because we went all the way to the point where we were at Auschwitz. That scene with the women,
Oh,
first,
horrible,
it wasn't
harrowing.
accidental. It was 100%
Oh yeah,
intentional
that's a
from,
power move for sure.
yeah, he did. And he did chose the women on purpose. I'm sure of it. But yeah, watching them have to get stripped and shave their heads, including the little girls, and thrown in that room after the story that woman tells in the bunker about how like they go there and they get gas and everyone's like, I don't want to, that's not, how do you know that's not true? And they're like all fearful of it. They don't know what's going to happen. So that scene, like they don't say a word in that entire scene. It's just music and sounds. And it is one of the most haunting scenes I've ever witnessed on
It is.
my television. I just applause to all of the actresses, I guess I should say, and just the directing. It was hard to watch, but it was definitely one of the best scenes they could have included to represent how dark that entire place and that entire time was.
Absolutely. So no, you absolutely. Also, the like the scene where he's like wants to put the hose in he's hosing off all the carriages because it's so hot in there, and it's like but he's the way it's just the way Schindler does it. Like he says it in a way that like he convinces the Nazis to do it because it's like, oh, we're just taking care of our product, rather than like his actual motivation is let's get these people a little bit cooler.
That's
Like,
what I mean in the beginning. Even like learning about how good he is at schmoozing these guys,
Yeah.
that all plays through to the entire ending. So it's like it's important context because that's who he is. Like he's good with people. He's charismatic. He'll say what he needs to say to get the result he wants, whether the person knows it or not. That
Yeah.
the intentions are there. So I thought that was a really good scene as well, where they're all just like laughing and looking at it as like a gimmick, and he's like the people inside there are actually so appreciative of the water.
Yeah.
And that's like everything to them in that moment. It's, yeah, the juxtaposition of the characters, it's insane to watch throughout the movie. That's one piece of zone of interest you don't get because you don't really see anything on the other side. It's just about the family. This movie, it's like you see, oh, they're having a party upstairs while people are suffering down here, out there.
Yeah.
And then it's crazy to watch kind of the two different
It's
lives that are being
it's
lived
literally
at one
like
time.
30 meters away as well.
Yeah, it's horrendous. It's awful.
It's crazy, man. But we live in a good time, Ash.
Do we?
Well, I think
Yeah.
so. So once the women arrive, Schindler institutes firm control to the SS guards assigned to the factory. Can you hear that dinging?
Yeah.
On my phone. Sorry, Let me just fix that real quick. I think it's someone trying to message me.
He's busy. Try again later.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know where it's coming from either. Oh well, I guess. Oof. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. It's all
We
right.
do our best here, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Could be from here. Nope. Oh well. Tried. Once the women arrive, Schindler institutes the confirmed control on the SS guards assigned to the factory, forbidding them to enter the production areas. He encourages the Hebrews to observe Sabbath. To keep his workers alive, he spends much of his fortune bribing Nazi officials and buying shells from other companies, like we said. He never produces working shells during the 7 months his factory operates. Due to Schindler's due to his whole machines, these mechanisms that he's creating, the factory produces no usable objects at all. In his hometown, he surprises his wife while she's in church during Mass and tells her that she's the only woman in his life, despite having been shown previously to be a womanizer. She goes with him to the factory to assist him. He runs out of money in 1945 just as the Germans surrender, thank God. As a Nazi Party member and a self-described profiteer of slave labor in 1945, Schindler must flee the advancing Red Army. Although the SS guards have been ordered to kill the Hebrews, Schindler persuades them to return to their families as men, not murderers. Bidding farewell to his workers, he prepares to head west and hoping to surrender to the Americans. In the aftermath, he packs a car in the night and bids farewell to his workers. They give him a letter explaining he is not a criminal to them, together with a ring secretly made from the Germans' gold dental bridge and engraved with a quotation, "Whoever saves one life saves the entire world." Schindler is touched but deeply ashamed as he leaves, feeling he could have done more to save lives, such as selling his car and golden party badge. He leaves with his wife during the night and dressed in Polish prisoner clothes, posing as refugees. I've only got one more paragraph. Do you have anything to add here, or should I just finish it off?
We can finish it off and I can add.
Yeah. When the Schindler awaken the next morning, a mounted Soviet officer announces that they've been liberated, but warns not to go east because they hate you there. The Hebrews then walk into the countryside. After a few scenes depicting post-war events such as the execution of Armin Goeth via hanging for crimes against humanity and summary of what happened to Schindler in the later years, the Hebrews are shown walking to the nearby town. Schindler and his wife were declared righteous among the nations, and a tree was planted in his honor in the Garden of Righteousness, among the nations. The black and white frame changes to one color of present day. Schindler Hebrews at the Schindler's grave site in Jerusalem, where he wanted to be interred. A procession of now elderly Hebrews who worked in Schindler's factory set stones on his grave, a tradition Hebrew custom denoting gratitude to the deceased, which I knew from A Real Pain, with the stones on the grave. The actors portraying the main characters walk with them. So Ben Kingsley is accompanied by the widow Isaac Stern, who died in 1969. A title card reveals that at the time of the film's release, there were fewer than 4,000 Hebrews left in Poland, but more than 6,000 descendants of the Schindler Hebrews throughout the world. In the final scene, Liam Neeson places a pair of roses on the grave and stands over it. Wow. That is Schindler's List. The part that broke me is when you see Schindler's wife in the wheelchair. And I was just like, that was the part I was just like, wow.
Honestly, I'm getting kind of emotional just listening to you talk about the last. It's a really powerful ending.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Absolutely one of the most brilliant things I've seen done in a film. I mean, to get that many people that experienced the real life, that were there, to get them to walk next to the actors that played them, or, some of them obviously maybe didn't have, I'm sure not every single person was represented by an actor, but still to get that many of them. I think that was such a powerful scene, and just, I don't even know what to say. I was just in awe. I just sat in silence, and it's hard to just go on about your normal life after you turn that movie off. It's just
I know, yeah.
Let's make dinner.
It's hard to check Instagram right after you finish Schindler's List, isn't it? Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah. On what you were saying of just like the real people there. So when survivor Mila Pfefferberg was introduced to Ralph Fiennes on set, she began shaking uncontrollably as he reminded her too much of the real Armin Goeth. Isn't that incredible? Steven Spielberg initially intended to make the film in Polish and German with English subtitles, but rethought the idea because he felt it wouldn't be able to accurately assess performances in unfamiliar languages, which is fair enough. And in his instance, citing that it was blood money, all royalties and residuals from the movie that would normally have gone to Steven Spielberg instead are given to the Shoah Foundation, I believe that's how you pronounce it, Shoah Foundation, which records and preserves written and videotaped testimonies from the survivors of genocide worldwide, including the Holocaust. And finally, to gather costumes for 20,000 extras, the costume designer took out advertisements seeking clothes. As economic conditions were poor in Poland, many people were eager to sell clothing they still owned from 1930s and 1940s. But that is Schindler's List. Tell me what you think, Ash. What's your score? What do you think of Schindler's List, Ash?
I think I'm absolutely devastated and heartbroken. Also, I forgot to mention one of the scenes I think that is one of the more heartbreaking. Obviously, watching all of them hide under the floorboards and in different places throughout the whole movie is really sad. But the one that got me the most was the young boy, no one wanting to make room for him, and then he crawls into the toilet and he's just completely covered, and there's like already other kids in there. I mean, that just absolutely broke my heart. I can't. This movie is really well made. It's definitely a 5-star film. There's no question about that. The cast, insane. I think even the supporting actors, like I said before, are really great. But yeah, Liam Neeson, Ben Kingsley, and Ralph Fiennes, just all perfect for what they're trying to portray. I don't know why Ralph Fiennes is so good at playing someone so evil and haunting, but that's just what he does best. So I guess that's good that he's so great at it, so that we can have him in roles like this. But man, it's yeah, tough to watch him at points. But yeah, I mean, I think the score, the cinematography, all the things we've talked about, they're just top tier filmmaking. And obviously, like I said before, I think this is a very personal thing for Spielberg, given his, familial history and everything. So I think it's a really powerful story for him to tell and direct. And I'm very glad that I now have seen the whole thing and like feel like a really strong like understanding of what it is, because I think it's an amazing film. I probably won't watch it ever again because it is just too devastating. But
Unless you
yeah,
like
I mean,
need to feel sad, you know?
yeah, maybe if you really, I feel like I have other films that are more like immediate crying.
Yeah, like I'd probably watch After Sun.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, this is like, it's so devastating, but at the same time, I feel like we've become so desensitized. At least that's how I personally feel with what goes on in the world I live in. I'm so desensitized to so much that I feel like it doesn't hit the way that it should hit harder. But it's just like when it's been going on, in different ways for, hundreds of years, it's just hard to be, as affected as you should be. But I still think it's important to watch this type
Yeah.
of film so that you can remind yourself like of how awful it has been for certain groups of people. So I think it's important. I think it's educational. I think it's beautiful filmmaking with all the right intentions. And I think that it's a good one to end off the Book of Spielberg, because it's definitely one of his best, if not his best made film, even though it's not my favorite by any means. I think it's definitely probably his best, top three at least, filmmaking for sure.
Oh yeah, agreed. Absolutely agreed. I think that I agree with everything you've just said. I've given it 5 stars as well, and I think it's a near perfect film. And to go off like such little production time, unbelievable. We loved it. We absolutely loved it. Speaking of movies that we never want to watch again, so we're going into a quick draft of the best movies that you just never want to watch again, because I think we both agree. I don't plan on watching Schindler's List anytime soon. So Ash, top five. We're going to give 5 movies each. I've done a little wheel and it's given it to you. So give me your first movie that will be on the list. Sorry. First movie on the list of movies that you just do not want to watch again.
Yeah. Well, I mostly kept it to like movies I don't want to watch again because they're so devastating. There's a couple on here that have other reasons, but I think just to, I guess, stay in a similar vein, but go with one that is a little bit more powerful for me, just because it's the first one that I really remember watching that covers this subject matter. But I'm going to go with Life is Beautiful, which is another movie about this similar subject matter.
Life is Beautiful is a good pick.
It's devastating, and I absolutely think it's a perfect film, but I have no interest in rewatching it because I can't get through it without sobbing.
Yeah, no, that's a great pick to start off with. See, there's so many that people would be like screaming at, but one that just sticks with me that I just don't think I can ever watch again is Manchester by the Sea. It's just so heartbreaking. It's like insanely heartbreaking. There's one scene in particular, the house fire. They're like, and then the whole ordeal in the police station after. I just never really want to watch that again, which is crazy because there's movies that break your heart. Like I can rewatch After Sun now, but I can't rewatch Manchester by the Sea now.
Yeah, you mean, I just watched that for the first time this year.
And you understand it.
Absolutely. I mean, I would maybe watch it again to like show it to like Adam or show it to somebody I know who hasn't seen it, maybe. Like if I
Yeah.
really wanted to be like, hey, you really have to see this amazing film. But I'm not like getting in line to rush to rewatch it anytime soon. Definitely, if you think you're having a bad day, he's having a much worse day.
Yes, correct. Nice.
Great pick. Okay.
I see a lot
Another
of,
war film.
I see a lot of Hereditary online as like what I
That was
want.
odd
Like,
to me.
and I was
I
like,
thought
I'd rewatch that. I'd rewatch the shit out of that.
I'm gonna rewatch it probably a bunch more times before I leave
Correct.
this
All right,
earth.
we're the same page. Cool.
Yeah,
Continue.
no, I think that's just people who maybe struggle with horror or with Ari Aster, because that one doesn't make sense to
I
me.
feel like that
Not in
movie
the
gets
same
better
ways.
on rewatch as well.
Yeah, I gave it 5 stars on rewatch last time.
Oh yeah, you did.
Another war film that absolutely broke me that I cannot watch again, I won't recover, is Grave of the Fireflies.
Yeah, great pick. Yeah,
That movie.
I can never rewatch that. That's a good pick. I'm gonna pick Come and See. Have you seen Come and See?
No, I haven't.
It's brilliant, but it's like I just will never watch that movie again. The movie
Yeah.
is probably one of the best child performances of all time. And it is just heartbreaking.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
There's one in particular that I really want that I hope you don't get. Don't you
I
dare.
think one that it's the reason is a little different, but I just found that it's too hard for me to imagine rewatching, mainly because of the subject matter, but also because of one of the like acting performances. He did so good, but it's like such an evil character, and that's The Green Mile because Sam
Yeah.
Rockwell is just too menacing, too evil, and that movie's just hard to watch. And I've seen it; it's great. I just don't think I could ever watch it again.
That's fair. That's fair. I love the Green Mile, man. Green Mile's fantastic, isn't it?
It's devastating.
I'm gonna go The Bridge to Terabithia.
Oh,
Yeah.
that movie. You just took me back to my childhood.
Yeah,
God, that
I just ruined you, didn't I?
okay, that movie,
Yeah.
My Girl, and because of Winn-Dixie, those movies devastated me as a child.
Yeah. Big time.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Absolutely. You're
Little
next.
Josh Hutcherson, he was just a baby.
He had no idea what he was getting into.
Wow. Okay. Um, I feel like because I have to get one on the list that has to do with animals, I know it's such a cliche pick. I don't even really like this movie.
Is it
But
Marley and me?
Marley and Me,
Yeah.
like, what the fuck were they thinking when they made that movie?
That's so funny.
I sobbed for an hour and 45 minutes in that theater. Just
I,
ridiculous.
I remember the day that I saw that movie with my family, I finished the book and I came downstairs and I was crying and my brother looked at me and goes, "What are we seeing?" He said, "Well, what happens in this movie?" I was like, "It's okay. It's gonna be okay."
I saw it when I was 15 in theaters and I cried the entire time.
Absolutely.
I've loved dogs since, I mean, since I could breathe, walk, do
Oh yeah.
anything.
Yeah. I'm probably there's one in particular that's huge that I don't really love as a film, so I'm not going to pick that. American History X for me though is always a really really tough watch, and I just don't really think I'll ever rewatch it again.
Yep. That was on my list. Yep. Are we doing five?
Yeah,
Okay. Honestly, I'm between two right now. I'll be honest, I had Coco on my list, but I feel like I'm lying if I say I'm never gonna
no,
watch
you
it
can
again. Like
rewatch
it's
Coco.
devastating, but it's rewatchable.
You could definitely rewatch Coco.
In my head, I was like, I cried so much, but it's still one you can rewatch. And I feel the same about like City of God is another one that feels like I can't rewatch it because it's so intense, but I do feel like I could after some time.
Yeah, you could definitely rewatch
So
that.
honestly, I think I'm just gonna take Schindler's List. Like I really, it's such a good film. I hate
Great
to
film.
take like two about the same subject matter, but obviously it's a common thing for films to go over that subject matter. So yeah, I think that's definitely gonna be up there for me.
Yeah, nice. I don't love Requiem for a Dream, so I'm not going to pick Requiem for a Dream. But Beautiful Boy, the Timothy Chalamet, is just such a tough watch. I wanted to pick one that had a lot to do with addiction. So Beautiful Boy would be my pick. It's he's brilliant in that. Same with Steve Carell. They're both incredible
I've
in
heard
it.
that's like kind of like cry porn. I don't know. I have a lot of addiction like in my family, so I'm a little bit worried about watching that. I feel like
Yeah, it's
gonna
gonna
be
wreck
an
you
intense
for
one.
sure. Then absolutely. Yeah, just to recap, Ash had Life is Beautiful, Grave of the Fireflies, Green Mile, Marley and Me, and Schindler's List. I myself had Manchester by the Sea, Come and See, Bridge to Terabithia, The American History X, and Beautiful Boy. Great movies. I'll never rewatch
Devastating.
any of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
Or maybe Green Mile, but maybe. That's a big maybe. That is the end of the book of Steven Spielberg. Thank you so much. We're going into the next 2 months, which October is always going to be Spooktober, so you have to do something horror-esque. So we're going to do 2 months of horror remakes. which is good fun. So we're starting up next week with The Ring. Then we're going into It Chapter 1 particularly. Then Luca Guadagnino's Suspiria. Then the 2013 Evil Dead remake, which was done by, was that Fede Alvarez? Yep. Then we're going into Vince Vaughn's Psycho, Vince Vaughn starring Psycho. Then
It's actually Gus Van Sant that did that movie.
He's Gus Van Sant, that's right, yep. Fucking nuts. Then into Bram Stoker's Dracula. Then we're doing a double header on one episode of Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and Halloween 2. We've got two Bram Stoker's Dracula here, sorry. Then we're going to Invisible Man and do you want to do the Wicker Man and then the Invisible Man, I guess?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I think that's fine. I think we were between Dawn of the Dead and
Oh, that's right.
Wicker
Do you
Man.
want to do Dawn of the Dead?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, because the Wicker
Get some
Man,
zombies
the
in
Wicker
there.
Man remake's fucking dog shit, so that's fine. So you're going into Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2. This is in November, so you don't have to worry about this for a while. Into Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, then into Lee Winnell's The Invisible Man, which will be good fun to watch. Ooh, I might put out a message to Lee Winnell, see if he can get him on it. Who knows?
That would be
Imagine.
so cool. I would just have questions about Saw. That's all.
Yeah, fucking A. He's the man. I interviewed him a couple months ago, and he his PR kept trying to stop us talking because we were just chatting about everything and about like different shots that he used in Wolfman and stuff. Yeah, that's it. So we're going through the horror remakes, which would be good fun. I really can't wait to watch some of these. I've never watched the remake of Suspiria or the remake of Psycho, so those specifically I can't wait for. I see there's a big renaissance of Halloween 1 and 2, Rob Zombies. I didn't love them at all when I first watched them,
Never
so
seen them.
I'm really keen to rewatch them and see what I think of them. Because I hear a lot that is like on rewatch that you love them. But for next week, please watch The Ring, which is the remake, the westernized version of The Ring, starring, is it Naomi Watts, I believe? Yeah.
Yes.
Which can't wait for. This will be good fun. But until next time, I'm Harry, that's Ash. Love Death Movies. We'll see you at the movies.